I guess it's Tuesday. Yeah, another hot day. Cooler though. We got the cool weather finally coming in tomorrow, so I'm happy about that. Anyway, point is we're going to talk about scaling today. So I'm always talking about, the business bros and the finance bros and the responsibility bros. Well, if you get on like social media, Instagram, Facebook, any of these places, you get a lot of these scaling bros. And these people that have business plans, right? They're going to tell you how to go from, one employee to 100 employees. They're going to show you how to go from, I see this one right now. It's like go from $0 to $4 million in 4 months. And it's like these people are crazy. Like it doesn't work that way. But they're trying to sell you this idea that you're going to get rich just following their plan, right? And this is what I mean by scaling bros. It's these people, they're not really interested in doing a lot of work. What they want to do is they want to create something one time and then sell it to a million people, right? And there's nothing wrong with that if it actually works, right? And if it's a product or a service that they've had success with. And the problem with a lot of these people, and most of them are nameless, right? This is the thing, like very rarely we have their name or the business that they ran, because the truth is that they weren't that successful at it. Because if you were a successful business person, you're not going to go to the business scaling business, right? You're not going to try and sell people on how to do everything if your business is successful. Like it just doesn't work that way. Because if you can scale your own company, why are you trying to teach everyone else how to scale your own business? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It never made a lot of sense to me. But this is something people do. And so we're going to talk about that today and give you kind of the reality of what it means to scale a business in real terms versus what these people are all trying to do, which is basically they want a monthly subscription from you guys. They want to put you in like a Discord or a mastermind group, and they just want to try and sell you theoretical stuff, right? Theoretical ideas, things like that. And the practical's you're not going to get a lot of practical tips and things like that, because the truth is that they're not really successful people. So it's an interesting topic. So anyway, my name is Eric Wilkin. I own the Splendid Crow here in St. Louis, Missouri. We're a small furniture boutique company. We do probably 500-ish pieces a year. We make lots of custom furniture. We make very high-end stain grade furniture. We are known for our high gloss lacquer coating. We high gloss lacquer a lot of furniture. We ship it all over America. And so we have a big logistics operation. We deal with a lot of shipping, a lot of dealing with insurance, getting in and out of very expensive homes, islands, residences that are special access, all those kind of things. And that's part of owning a furniture company. You just have to learn to do that kind of stuff. And it's a great way to make a living. Probably not going to get rich at it, but it's the reality of just making it in the world. Like not everyone's going to get rich. You can, no doubt about it. If you can scale your business like everyone tells you can, you could definitely do it. But so we're going to talk about scaling today, and we're going to go through some of the, like I said, how it really works versus how people tell you it works. So like, what is scaling, right? So the idea of scaling is basically, that you can take your idea from one location to 100 locations, right? Or you can take your product from making, 10 products a year to making 1,000 products a year, right? This is that idea of scaling from, a certain amount of revenue to whatever, $1 million a year to $10 million a year, okay? Scaling is very important, and it's something you have to learn. And truth is that not every industry can do it, and not every service can do it. Some ideas are just not scalable. And this is the thing that a lot of people won't tell you. So I thought I'd break down a couple companies, especially my company, since I'm in the furniture space. I'll break down a restaurant real quick, and I'll just kind of show you guys how scaling works, why it's practical in certain instances and completely impractical in others. And I think it's good that you got to be looking out for these people. They're just trying to sell you the idea of getting rich doing anything, and it's kind of horseshit. I don't like it, and we need to quash this idea that you can just get rich by buying someone's course, because it's not true, So anyway, let's go through some of the stuff, and I wrote down a few things, and we'll talk about, like I said, it's all about scaling. That's what we're going to talk about today. So we've got people coming in. So good to see everyone's in here. AJ's in here, Maxwell's in here, Mara's in here. Good to see all of you. If you're in the feed, hit the like button, add the discussion. Let me know what you do. Let me know where I'm right. Let me know where I'm wrong. And we'll bat it back around here. So the first thing, so I was talking about furniture company. Okay, so if you want to scale a furniture company, okay, so again, this is my business. I own a furniture company and a hardware company and a paint company. So the thing is if you're starting your garage, you're making, a piece a month, 2 pieces a month. You're making whatever, $5,000 a month making furniture, right? Well, that's 60 grand a year. That's pretty good. You're doing it all yourself. And there's costs and things like that. Well, you get an order for, whatever, 5 pieces a month, right? So you got to grow your company, you know, so you got to figure out, well, how do I grow this thing from doing 1 or 2 pieces a month to doing 5 to 10 pieces a month? And so you got to figure out the logistics, right? Can I do power? Can I do all these kind of things? Well, you figure all that out, right? So you move in a bigger building and suddenly you're growing, right? You're becoming a larger company, all these kind of things. Well, if you want to grow that thing, every time you try and grow something, the thing that most people forget about when it comes to scaling a business is that you have to produce a product every single time, right? And this is the thing that I think really screwed people probably the last 10 years is this idea of making something every time. Okay, so if you're going to try and scale a furniture company, if I have a credenza, right? Say I have a credenza, it takes me 40 hours a week to make one of those, whether I make it or I give it to somebody else. Okay, in order to scale that company, it's impossible to make that credenza to go from making 1 of those a month here in my shop to say making 10 of those a month here in my shop. It's impossible because you can't scale. You can't speed that cabinet up fast enough because it's literally made by hand. Like that's literally the reason we can charge $10,000 for that credenza is because our customer knows that it's made by hand, right? So therefore, it's not really a good candidate to scale up a business to where, you know, instead of doing $2 million a year, we're doing $20 million a year doing handcrafted furniture. Because the truth is that you have to hire somebody to do that job. You can't CNC cut all that stuff because it's not what your customer is paying for, you know? So the idea of making something every time, while super rewarding and it feels good and it's great to see your product in someone's home and see someone get a lot of excitement out of it, it's not scalable. Like it just isn't, right? And you're probably saying, well, I know there's tons of furniture companies. You know, there's whatever Theodore Alexander and Century, and there's some of the other ones that are out there today. You know, Bassett Furniture. I'm trying to think of like American companies. So all these guys, they make $5,000 pieces of furniture, right? They're CNC cutting everything. They have what are called assemblers, and you can scale that business up, right? But the minute one of those companies wants to charge $20,000 for a desk, they're not going to get it. There's no customer for them because they're not known as a high-end boutique type furniture company. They're known as a very high quality American-made company that makes really good furniture, right? So it's very different. So you can scale that thing up at the $5,000 to maybe $8,000 level, but it's impossible to scale it up to $20,000 level because it just requires so much hand manufactured, right? So much fine sanding, putting on trims by hand, cutting parts by hand. So anyway, it's not a scalable business, and it sucks if you like to make furniture. But the reason we don't have more of these hand-built type companies, you know, companies like I'm talking about making handmade furniture, you know, doing you know, welding, making whatever, like metal fabrication, all these kind of things, is because it's just too damn hard to hire people, right? To train people to do this kind of stuff. There aren't enough people that are doing this work today, so it makes it really difficult. So what happens is that everyone tells you, well, you have to outsource it or you have to CNC cut everything. You have to trade in your furniture makers, your craftspeople for assemblers, right? So now we basically dumbed down the idea of a cabinet maker or a furniture maker, and it's basically just an assembler nowadays, right? So most people that work in your furniture companies aren't actually building furniture piece by piece. You know, they're building minor assemblies that go into other assemblies that create the large main assembly. And you know, you've got people that all they do is make doors, right? All they do is make drawers. And they're very specialized. And that's one way to get the costs down and the production rate up enough to be able to make a bunch of money. You know, and that's the reality of owning a company. Like you can, a company like mine where we're doing, you know, 1 to 2 million a year, like you're not going to get rich because you can't scale this business up enough to bring in the revenue to extract 10 or 20% off of yourself and make $500,000 a year. Like it's just not possible, okay? Now, that's furniture, okay? And we haven't even talked about the outsourcing, which is the other component of manufacturing. Okay? A lot of people, when you want to make a product in the furniture space, you literally have to systematize every single facet of your company so that it can then be outsourced overseas. And what I mean by that is when you make, when you're making doors, you have to have all of your engineering done in CAD because you need to be able to cut that door out on a router so it's the same every single time, so that some guy can simply edge band or put on trims and install hinges, and that's it, right? There's no calculating in this person's head. They just take the thing off the cart, put it onto the cabinet, install the hinge, install the trim with their nail gun, and that's it, right? So it's you go from, like I said, a furniture maker to an assembler, okay? It's possible to do that when you have every component of your furniture systematized and you have every single thing in your company processed, right? You have to be a super process-oriented company. And truth is like, that sucks. Like, I don't know if y'all have ever worked for a company that processes for everything and just strictly runs on, what is basically SOP. It blows. Like, it's one of the reasons that we're in the situation that we're in today where most people don't really like what they do because they're not really doing meaningful work. And there's plenty of people that are, but what I'm saying is a lot of people in the trades today, a lot of people doing, we'll talk about furniture, it's no fun anymore. The idea that you have to basically just put on doors all day on a cabinet, or your job is to install hinges, install doors, and do edge banding on doors, and you do that on 10 or 20 cabinets a day, like, that's soul crushing if you ask me, But if you want to scale a company, that's what you have to get your processes down to. So instead of someone like myself, cutting out all of my carcass parts, my end panels, base panels, mid panels, make it all my framing panels, gluing that thing up, making sure it's all square and all the dimensions line up, putting in all my dados and my rabbets, putting all the hinges, drawers, edge banding, veneer work, you don't do that today. No company does that today if they want to scale, because there's no way to make money, because you can't speed it up quickly enough, and you can't make it dumb enough for people to be able to swap employees in and out really quickly. If you have to pay all your employees $30-40 an hour making furniture, it's unscalable, So anyway, it just doesn't work unless you process everything. You can also outsource it, but again, you got to go back to processing. Your engineering has to be really on point, and then you can send it all overseas and you can scale up your company that way as well. But man, that sucks. And that's one of the reasons I'm talking about. It's like, I think it just blows that that's what it's come down to. Like, if you want to have a decent furniture company today, or even a cabinet company, you have to CNC cut everything. You basically have to replace makers for assemblers, and it's soul crushing, and it's tough to, at least in my opinion, like, it's tough to go to work every day doing that shit, So anyway, that's what I'm gonna say about that. Next, I want to talk about a restaurant real quick, talk about scaling up a restaurant real quick, and how that works, why restaurants are a fantastic model for scaling, and how we have a couple of there's probably, I don't know, a dozen really successful restaurants, and they've done it all through scaling. So I'm gonna go through comments real quick, and then I'll continue. Okay, if you're in the chat, guys, hit the like button, add to the discussion. I really do appreciate it. Okay, Max says, have a nice day, or excuse me, have a nice job. Beaner from Yuma. I'm melting in Arizona. Yeah, I'm melting here in Missouri. It's been in the mid 90s and humid as all get out. I mean, it's insanely humid. It's like living literally in the deep south or something. But yeah, the temperature's been off the charts. So I think we finally get a break starting tomorrow, I hope, because it is wicked hot here. Okay, let's see. I used to install cabinets in the company, just buy stuff from IKEA. Yeah, and that's just how it goes, And it's, again, like, if that's what people want and that's what they want to do, like, and same thing, like, another thing in the furniture space that a lot of people are doing nowadays is they're buying what's called RTA cabinets, which is exactly what I'm talking about. The idea that you're going to hire someone to build you some cabinets, they're going to go, order in whatever 20 sheets of plywood, and they're going to start cutting out end panels for all your cabinets. They're going to cut out a bunch of face frame material, order in whatever 10 cases of slides, and they're going to build you some cabinets. Like, those days are over. Like, nobody does that shit. And the problem is you can't charge enough. People don't want to pay for it unless you have a very high-end client base, and then you could do that stuff all day long. There's a lot of people in America that if you told them that you're going to install RTA cabinets in their $1 million home, they're going to tell you to go fuck yourself. Like, they're just not going to have it. They will not have it. Everything has to be handmade, and they'll pay for it every time. But a lot of people don't care, and that's just, it is what it is, and that's fine. But it's getting harder to have a furniture company where people actually make things. Like, everything has to be bought off of a router, flat packed, a lot of cam type stuff, or you'll see a lot of Dow furniture, which is kind of what the RTA stuff is. And overall, I mean, the quality's not too bad, but it sucks if you're a worker, right? If you're someone that has to do that job every day, like, that can get kind of boring, And I've heard this from many people. I'm not the first one to say this, but yeah, it kind of sucks, man. So It's hard to find customers to see the value of custom make it. Yeah, well, and Yuma, that's what I talk about. Like that's what the stream is. Okay, I'm always telling you guys that you have a massive divide growing, right, between the haves and the have-nots, right? It's only getting bigger, and you have to operate at either good, better, or best tier of whatever it is you do. And we here at the Resplendent Crow, we operate in the best, right? Like I don't make a pair of nightstands unless I get $8,000. I don't make you anything for under $8,000. I don't make credenzas for under $5,000. Like I don't make desks for under $8,000. Like we charge such a large dollar amount, and we have the customer base now. It took us probably 8 years, I think, to 8 or 9 years at this point to build up this customer base. But now, whenever somebody wants something custom made that's especially painted, like high gloss lacquered furniture, they come to us. You know, we've been at it long enough. We got a great reputation and a fantastic client base, and all of our customers are what are called qualified clients, right? Qualified customers, and these are people that have the money. They're not going to haggle with you. They know what they want, and they know that when they buy from us, they're going to get exactly what it is that they're looking for, and it's a win-win for everyone. But you're 100% right, man. There are so many people today that don't understand the quality of handmade cabinets or handmade anything for that matter. And part of that reason is because during COVID, when we were making, high gloss lacquered furniture, which we've been doing for a long time, because everyone had to stay home, suddenly everybody became a high gloss lacquer painter. And that really drove down the price that we could charge for things. There was a lot more competition. And the truth is that most people are shit at what they do. They're not good. They're just doing something because they got nothing else to do, or they don't know how, and they're slinging crap against the wall and seeing what sticks. And it can give your industry a bad name when you have too many people that are just garbage at what they do, claiming that they do what it is that we do, you know? So when it comes to furniture, I think that the newer, like millennials, Generation Z or Y, or whatever the hell the new generations are, they don't appreciate that kind of stuff, you know? And part of it is because a lot of them don't have money, you know? So if their parents didn't have money and didn't instill this idea of quality into them at a younger age, then they don't care what they buy. All they care is that they get their electronics, you know, and that's it's weird to be quite honest with you, but it is what it is, you know. So I hope that's helpful, Yuma. Okay, so here in Arizona, new construction uses cabinets from Home Depot and fake granite and particle board stuff. Yeah, and we get a lot of that. It's the same thing here, but all you can do is point it out, right? And if you guys go on my Instagram, I'm always talking about how our stuff's all made in America. I talk about how it's made. I talk about what we make it with. I show off the veneers. I show the prices of everything, because I want people to know that when you buy an $8,000 credenza from me, I spent $2,000 on veneer, right? Like you're getting really nice, high quality veneers, right? And about probably $1,200. But the point is that we spend a lot of money buying really high quality stuff, and if you spend enough time making that stuff and pointing out what it is that people are buying or what people are selling, it really helps. Like, and it sounds a little bit like people will tell you that you're bragging, or people will tell you that no one will pay that, and people say all kinds of stuff. And truth is that they don't know what they're talking about. Like we wouldn't have a business if we had to sell particle board furniture. We wouldn't have a business if we had to, you know, sell fake anything. Like I wouldn't even use MDF on my tops for anything. Like if I have to use laminate, I always use plywood. Like I won't even use MDF. I'll use MDF for backs sometimes, but that's basically it, because the product is shit. You know, it's a builder grade product, and when you're operating that best tier, you cannot put builder grade products in your customers' hands. Like you just can't do it. Otherwise, you become normal like everybody else. Like what sets you apart if you're using the same shit as everybody else? And the idea of what you're saying with a lot of these companies using fake granite countertops. I mean, we've seen it all. People will try and sell porcelain tile as marble. Like I've seen it all. Like it's garbage. People will try and sell the custom cabinets they're just RTA cabinets. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it all. People will try and tell you that they're selling you high-end kitchen stuff when it's basically overlay cabinets. Like there's no such thing as a high-end kitchen with overlay doors and drawers. Like, I'm sorry, if you got a kitchen with overlay anything on it, it's shit. You know, everything on a kitchen should be inset. Anything on a nice, high quality cabinet is going to be inset. This idea that you can have some overlay, face frame, freaking, I'm going on a rant now. Yeah, I can really, I can go on about that kind of stuff. Like I said, it's too bad. The quality that we have in everything today has been brought down so far. If you make something really nice, it's so easy to just blow all those people away, but it does take a lot of time, you know? So this idea of scaling a business, very hard to scale a business if you're making really nice stuff. Like it's so hard because, again, finding the people is nearly impossible. And a lot of people that think they can do really good work, they can't, you know? And if you try and tell them that, they don't want to hear it, or they'll tell you that you don't know what you're talking about. And it's tough, you know? Whereas if you sell like you're saying, like a builder grade product that can be CNC routed using mass made materials like MDF and particle board, Millamine stuff, you can cut that shit out, you know, you can cut out 50 sheets a day if you got a fast CNC router, just tons of parts, have guys just dowel all that shit together, and you know, you can do it. It's a business, you know, but you got to go to bed at 2. Okay, let's see more from you. Okay, see the particle boards. So let's see, Yuma says, the economy is just not where the average person to buy real cabinet space from real wood. Yeah, it's, there seems to be a little bit of that. Like I definitely see a lot of, I see a lot of people struggling on the internet, and I see a lot of people feigning struggle. I don't know that everyone is struggling, to be quite honest with you. What I see in my orbit, it's like I got normal guys here, like my guys make anywhere from, you know, $20 to $35, $40 an hour. Like we're kind of in that, I would say, middle class kind of group, and I don't hear anybody bitching about the economy, you know. And it's not. I know there's a lot of people that are struggling. I get that, but if you sell a good product and you sell a high-end product, I think that, you know, you pay your people well, your business is going to do okay. Like I said, you're not going to get rich, but everyone's going to be happy for the most part. And if you can live with not being rich as a business owner, you can be happy too. Like it's not too bad. So, but anyway, I'm going to go back, get on my next thing here. We're going to talk about restaurant scaling real quick. We just talked about furniture scaling and the problems with growing a large furniture company. Now, I'll tell you guys one quick thing real quick about furniture scaling. There's a book by a gentleman named Paul Downs, and I talk about it on a lot of casts. It's called Boss Life. You guys need to go get it if you want to know about the furniture industry, how to start a furniture company. The audio book is fantastic, and this guy talks all about starting as a furniture maker to being a furniture owner, which is, the two are very different, and that's one of the things that we as craftspeople, I think, really struggle with. I don't want to be a business owner, to be quite honest with you. Like I would rather just make furniture, like which I get to do from time to time, but that's all I want to do. I don't want to run a company. I don't want to deal with all the bullshit. I just want to make awesome furniture. I want to be the guy that people just go ooh and ah over my stuff. That's all I want. But this Paul Downs guy made the transition from a maker to a business owner, and he talks about all of it. And one of the things I thought was really interesting, and I've talked to you guys about tariffs. I know it's a little bit of a side tangent here, but when they say that tariffs are going to raise the price of everything and all businesses are just going to pass the costs on to the consumer, like I'm telling you guys, it's all garbage. Businesses can't. Like there's no appetite for increased prices on all this shit. And the truth is that the foreign manufacturers need us more than we need them, you know, and nobody talks about that. And I know that because I'm an importer, right? Like I make hardware in India, and I understand these people are in much worse shape than we are here in America, right? So if America says, well, we're not going to order your stuff anymore, trust me, it hurts these people a lot more than it hurts us. So, but that's a side note. So anyway, what I'm getting at is Paul Downs, this guy who wrote this book, Boss Life, got asked to go to Europe, and he goes over to Europe, and this European company wanted him to make some furniture for them, and he was kind of a little confused by it, you know. I said, well, but I'll go check it out, and he wouldn't. He gets there to this factory in Europe, and he walks in the door, and he just sees this beautiful factory, like all the best machines, you know, amazing lighting, great, you know, cells, benches, all these kind of things for making furniture. And the guy's saying to the owner, he's saying, well, man, what the hell do you need me for? Like, you have the most amazing factory I've ever seen. Like, this factory is beautiful. What is going on here? And this guy says to him, he says, you know what? He says, you're right. But the cost to turn this factory on is so high, we don't have enough orders to turn the factory on. and that's the problem with scaling, right? So you can absolutely scale, and you can get to a place where you're producing a ton of shit, right? But it takes a massive amount of orders to keep that thing going. which is what you're running into right now with tariffs, which nobody is talking about, right? So basically, if you're ordering, if Nike's ordering whatever, 1 million pairs of shoes a month, right? The idea that that Nike can then go to their factory and say, well, you know what, guys, like, we only need 200,000 shoes this month. The factory for the first month is going to say, okay, well, that's fine, no problem. But by the second or third month, they're going to be like, we can't afford to do this anymore. You know, like, this isn't going to work anymore, right? So Nike's going to say, well, I don't know what to tell you. The factory's going to say, well, we probably need to charge you more for every unit because we have to produce way less, right? Well, Nike's going to say, well, fuck it, man. I just won't even order any shoes from you guys then. We'll go to this other factory, which there's a ton of factories in these places. So it becomes a negotiation where Nike says, well, yeah, we're not going to order as many shoes. Maybe we'll pay you a little bit more, right? Which in the end doesn't cost Nike as much, or some version of that where Nike says, okay, well, we're going to order 1 million shoes, right? But we're not going to pay you as much because we're going to have to, we got this import duty over here, right? So it's a negotiation, and a lot of people don't want to admit that that's what's really going on with this whole tariff discussion. So anyway, side tangent there, big time. But anyway, Boss Life, Paul Downs, he talks about scaling a business, and he tells some great stories about these large companies in Europe and how they got so big that they couldn't turn their factories on because the sales declined so much. And that's one of the things that we at the Resplendent Crow don't really have to deal with. We keep our team really lean. We keep them really small, and it works great. So we'll have months where our sales will be 50 to 75% less than they normally are. And while that sucks from a revenue standpoint, it's not the end of the world because we don't have massive business loans, right? We don't pay tons of consultants. We don't have lots of managers. We don't have a ton of fixed costs that we have to pay every month. Our biggest cost is literally our employees. Like, that's it. Rent doesn't even factor into the equation. Machine loans doesn't factor in the equation. None of that shit factors in the equation. So we don't have to worry about that from a scaling standpoint, which is kind of nice. So anyway, okay, talk about restaurants. Okay, sorry guys, I'm kind of running around with like a chicken with my head cut off here on these topics. So okay, a few more comments real quick. Okay, we got some kind of the kanji name in here. It says, hi, hello, good to see you. By poor, I have no idea what that means. We got Sergio in here. Holla. Yuma's in here. Okay, this was, was a local mom and pop's restaurant for years, and now they have 3 restaurants. Yeah, and that's what we're going to talk about next. We're going to talk about scaling and why scaling on a restaurant level is awesome. And I'll talk about the furniture side. I'll tell you why most furniture makers that sell furniture plans or have masterminds or try and tell you how to become a furniture maker don't actually make money making furniture, right? Or they don't even do furniture anymore, right? And there's a couple of these guys, you can Google them, that do this stuff, and I would say it's a scam. It's not a scam because I think they all have done furniture, but they're not making money from furniture, right? Which is what makes what I say different, right? All I sell is furniture. If you go to resplendentcrow.com, all you're gonna see is furniture, and you're gonna pay the same price as anybody else, right? There's no, haggling or any of that kind of stuff. It's just, there's the price, there's the furniture. I've got hundreds of pieces on there because that's what we do here in St. Louis. That's why we're able to hire Americans to do American work, is because we make a shit ton of American furniture that sells for a shit ton of money. And that's the only way that it works, right? I couldn't employ people if I was selling my furniture for, selling credenzas for $3,000. Like, I would have no business. If I was selling nightstands for $1,000, wouldn't happen, So anyway, okay, restaurants. So we're talking about restaurants. Okay, let's see. They made it in my books. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I would say 3 years, man. You made it. 3 restaurants. You probably made it. We got a couple restaurants here in St. Louis that have branched out as well, and we'll talk about scaling a restaurant. Because scaling a restaurant's cool. It's I think it's a fantastic way to do scaling. And scaling, if you can scale, guys, you can make an infinite amount of money, and it is significantly less work than what it is that I do, which is like, I would rather than make an interesting piece of furniture that I can then give the plan to somebody else to make it, I want to be the guy that makes it, right? I want to be the guy when they say, oh my God, Eric made this amazing piece of furniture. Like, you can give me $1 million. I want to be the guy that makes the furniture. I don't want the money. I want to be the fucking master. Like, that's where I'm at in my life. That's what I want. And I'm happy to teach anybody how to make furniture, but probably not gonna sit here and teach how to run a business. Like, I'll teach how to make furniture because that's what's interesting, that's what's exciting, and that's what I think we need to do. We got to teach people how to do stuff. So, all right, we're still working on getting to restaurants. Let's see, they still run the original restaurant. It feels like home when you walk in. That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, we'll get into restaurants. Okay, more of this. Say hi. Good, I said hi. I can't pronounce your name. I know you got some kind of looks like some kind of kanji name. I don't know what the hell it is, but okay, there go on the weekends. And Mr. Walsh is the best. He truly does it because he loves his job. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you can get rich loving what it is that you do, no doubt about it. But I think that it's very difficult, because especially as makers and people that crafts people and stuff like that, it's very difficult for us to go from doing the work to working on the company, because truth is that we're not into looking at profit and loss statements and chasing vendors and, doing accounting and, payroll and all that stuff sucks, going and pricing out insurance and putting together, MSDS books, like all that stuff absolutely blows from a business owner standpoint, from a craftsperson standpoint, but business owners have to do that stuff. And it just steals, I think it steals the love for what it is that a lot of people do. But that's why I have this channel. That's why I talked most days about business, about, specifically furniture, because I think more people need to do this kind of stuff and show people that it's okay. Like, you're not going to be poor. You're not going to be rich. You're just going to be kind of mid, but you get to do what you want to do if you're a maker, right? If you're someone that likes to build things, if you're someone that just likes to sell, like, you can sell for anybody, you can grow a sales company. You can grow, scaling a sales and marketing company. I'll talk about that too. So anyway, let's get on the restaurant. We'll talk about restaurants real quick. I know I'm kind of rambling here. So, okay. So scaling up a restaurant, we talked about the furniture side. Very difficult to scale up a high-end furniture company. Not so hard to scale up a generic kind of furniture company. It's actually not that difficult. And then if you want to outsource scaling a furniture company, not hard at all. There's so many people that'll help you scale a furniture company if you want to use foreign labor. So anyway, restaurants. Okay, so the cool thing about a restaurant is you get into restaurants, right, because you like food, for the most part, or maybe you like people or whatever. Point is that you put together that restaurant. You probably got to take out a loan. You start that first restaurant. You perfect your recipes, right? Maybe you're into making sandwiches, sandwiches are always kind of the easiest one, but you like making sandwiches, but you spend maybe a couple of years perfecting your sandwiches, right? You're perfecting your breakfast menu, your lunch menu, your dinner menu, right? You perfect that menu, you figure out what people like, you figure out the recipes, you figure out the logistics with your vendors, getting your product in, on some kind of a schedule, right? Whether it's like a min-max system or whatever, like some kind of a JIT type system. But point is that you perfect all these kind of things. You train people how to cook your food a certain way, how to deliver your food a certain way. You're able to create that ambiance in your restaurant. You get the right look you want. Whether you got tablecloths, tables that are painted, wood tables, whatever. You create this atmosphere and this menu that people tend to like, and you grow this customer base. Well, when it comes time. Scaling that business is wildly easy, and here's the thing. The truth is that when you first got that business, you probably, were scouting for locations. You probably found there was the location you really wanted. There was the place you obviously didn't want to be. You probably ended up somewhere in the middle to the lower end of the middle of where you wanted to be. Well, once you have all those things in place, it's really easy to write that menu down, right? Write down the things that create that aesthetic, right? Whether it's the way your servers dress, the music, the way your kitchen is laid out, the way that your dining room is laid out, all these kind of things, the outside appearance, whether you got flowers, whether Italian, whatever it might be. It's easy to lay all that stuff out and then sell it to somebody else, and once you understand profit loss statements and things like that, you can put that out there with your furniture, your restaurant plan, okay, right? And this is licensing, right, or franchising, very common, right? So when you put together, like take McDonald's, everyone knows McDonald's. Truth is that McDonald's sells franchising rights. So if you want to get a McDonald's, it's probably going to cost you $750,000, and you basically are buying the business model, right? So with a restaurant, it's super easy. If you have a successful restaurant, say a restaurant, does whatever, does $7 million a year, your profit margin, is say whatever, standard 13%, you're making whatever, 700 grand a year, 800 grand a year on your restaurant with all that revenue. It's very easy to sell that idea to somebody else, and again, when you lay it all out, you sell that business model to somebody else, right? So then it's a franchise, and this is what McDonald's does. McDonald's helps you scout locations. It helps you with loans to get locations. It helps out a lot of kind of stuff, but it has the menu, right? It has all the vendors figured out. It knows, it will basically add you to their logistics system where they're bringing in all the meats, right? They're bringing in whatever the fries are made out of, the lettuces, the tomatoes, the whatever the secret sauces, all these kind of things, the sesame seed buns. Their system does all that for you. As a restaurant, you can totally do all the same things because all you got to do is sell your restaurant idea to somebody else and then hook them up with all your vendors. And then you just add that new restaurateur, franchisee, whatever you want to call it, to your existing vendor list, right? And it really isn't that complicated, and this is why restaurants are able to scale pretty quickly. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, we all know the Subway story. Subway was the fastest growing company for several years. I think it was in the early 2000s. It might have been the late 2010s. I think it was the early 2000s. And there was something like, I forget what it was, there was something like hundreds of those things going up a day. I mean, it was wildly successful because they had all of the processes, the SOPs, the systems, the vendors, the accounting systems, all that stuff was in place. So it's doing it that way is really simple. And funny thing, my wife used to work for a company called The Maids, and The Maids is a cleaning service, right? It's very popular, and I think it's well known by anyone that would listen to the stream. That's what her boss did when she went to work there. They actually had a Maids franchise in Phoenix, and then they bought one here in St. Louis, right? They didn't even live in the same state, but because the systems are all the same, they already had all of these systems from their Arizona location, and they just bought a location in St. Louis and took it over, and then they had two of these things. And this is another thing that you can do if you want to get in business. I mean, you can buy businesses that already have all these systems set up, or you can create them yourself and sell them to other people. So scaling's an interesting thing. I think there's a lot of value in it, but the thing that I don't like about, let me go over this, what really bothers me about scaling real quick, and then I'll go into the comments again. The thing about scaling today is that people think that they can just take an idea and market the shit out of it and make tons of money. And the way that I explain it is my furniture takes on average 40 hours to make, right? That's not the finish. Finish is an additional 24 hours, right? That's sanding it all, priming it, sanding it again, painting it, sanding it again, more painting, reassembly, delivery. It's a lot of man hours to do this kind of stuff, okay? What most people want to do is they want to create a drawing for any piece of furniture that I make. They want to put it on a website and sell that drawing to 1 million people. They make that drawing one time, and then it's infinitely accessible to anybody. And you see it all the time with people selling. They'll sell 100 drawings for $5, right? And the way that kind of thing works is if you've been making drawings for years, right, you get a big collection of drawings, you can literally just put them all together on a website and sell them in batches of 10, batches of 20. These are all the credenzas, these are all the dressers, these are all the whatever, the kitchen cabinets, the vanities, all these kind of things. And you can sell these things in blocks to an infinite number of people, and you only had to make it one time. You put it on a website and it's done. You can take payment very easily on a Shopify website. You can do it on a WordPress website. It's very easy to take payment now. There's all kinds of companies. Stripe does it. I think Square does it. There's, like I said, it's just super easy, and this is what everybody wants to do. People no longer want to work hard, and people, scoff at me when I say that kind of thing, but it's true, and I'll be the first person to say it. The woman that works the front counter at a business as a secretary, say she does that for 30 years, and the guy that builds furniture for 30 years, it ain't the same thing, and I think we tend to treat it the same, but it just isn't. And point is that people, they all want to work from home now. They want to do anything they can to, be in front of their phone and just make content. Like I was listening to this Jack Dorsey, I think it's Jack Doherty. He's that dumb kid that does. Oh, there it is. Okay, I think I'm back. Try this real quick. I gotta keep this phone from heating up. It's so hot in here. The phone literally won't keep going. So we'll go through comments real quick and I'll end this thing. Let's see. We got Yuma back in here. Okay, his phone overheated. It's too hot. Yeah. Sorry guys, it's too damn hot. But it's okay. We'll do a streaming tomorrow. I appreciate everyone hanging out and participating in the discussion. And again, people want ideas for comments, things to talk about. Let me know related to the furniture business, related to business in general. The idea that everybody is just going to make something digitally and they're just going to sell it to a million people and get super successful. Like, it's horseshit, guys. The furniture makers that are telling you that you can get rich if you just buy their programs, you get in their mastermind classes, don't know what they're talking about. It's not that simple, and scaling that stuff to make money is incredibly difficult. So the biggest thing you have to understand about making money in the furniture game is that you cannot make money in furniture if you're selling to middle class, upper middle class, or poor people. You have to sell to the richest of the rich unless you can scale your furniture company up. And in order to scale your furniture company up, you need to make your furniture that's basically RTA type furniture. You need to use the cheapest labor possible, the most technology possible, or sell it overseas. And there's a ton of people that would love to help you design your furniture and make it in Mexico, India, Thailand, Vietnam, or Indonesia. And lots of companies will do it for you. They charge a fee of about $5,000 to help you with the initial designs and hook you up with the factory. But once you hook up with that factory, you're dealing with the factory. You're no longer dealing with the company that was kind of the intermediary. So you can do that kind of stuff, but it's your soul. So you got to remember that. Son, good to see you, man. Back on my streams. My phone got too hot. I had to turn it off. I had to cool it off, I should say. That's why I'm kind of hanging out by the fan here. It's just too damn hot here in St. Louis. It's really hot. But anyway, we're talking about scaling today, and it's talking about how difficult it is to scale a furniture company and how most people are talking about how to scale companies and how to get rich, in furniture and all these kind of things. They have no idea what they're talking about, and that's why we do these streams. That's why I do these casts. Gotta let people know what it's really like. Right now we're in a shop that's 90 degrees. And that's the best you can hope for, right? Odds are you're not going to end up working in some plush shop, making baller money, just following Zach Vought's course, or I think that's that guy's name, or the handmade furniture guy that I'm seeing all over the place, like this guy, or most of these people. What they want you to do is they want you to make tables, right? Which any swinging dick with a what do they call those stupid saws everyone uses? Track saw, right? Track saw and a planer can make a table. And that's the thing, then you're dealing with everybody. You're back to doing what I'm talking about. It's like you can operate in good, better, or best. But if you follow these people's programs, you're always going to be operating in better at best. You're never going to get to the highest tier because there's too much competition, right? Everyone's going to drag you down with their prices, And again, you're going to have a 20,000 square foot shop making super exotic high-end shit, and then some guy's going to come in with his garage and make the same thing as you if you make tables, because anybody can make a table, right? You see guys selling these, guys selling these epoxy tables, same thing. Any swinging dick can make an epoxy table. They're everywhere, requires no special skills, and that's where you go. It's very difficult to get your price up high enough to make any money. And that's the thing that everyone has to kind of get right with, So watch out for those people. They're selling you a bunch of shit, right? They just want $20 a month out of you for 12 months so they can, make money basically doing nothing. So anyway, I'll tell you guys later. Son, good to see you. Yeah, it's hot. It's hot everywhere today. So we'll